Welcome to Hardcore Prehab Part 2 by your favorite vegan athletes. If you are ready to get your core nice and tight, then do these exercises with me 3 by 10 reps and complete them all within 20 minutes. The first exercise is a core exercise. Specifically, the hips are doing the movement here and acting as hinges. In this exercise, the basis of the movement is to keep the arms extended. In my hands, I have two 15-pound dumbbells, and I am essentially just dropping my entire leg down and allowing it to fall with gravity. The hips are the prime movers of this exercise. Without the hips, you can't have a strong core, and without a strong core, you are more injury prone in the back and lower lumbar area. So not only is this exercise great for hip mobility and hip strength, but it's also great for full core strength as well. And what I mean by full core strength is that all the way from my trapezius muscles, my traps, and all the way down to my hips, that is the core. The entire body from the hips above, that is the core. I'd even say that the core is the entire body, but for the purpose of this video, the core is from the hips all the way to your upper traps, to your shoulders, right? So with the weighted dumbbells in my hands, I am having to suspend my arms in the air, resisting gravity, and then also resist gravity with my legs as I do the movement. So you can either do alternating legs, so go left, right, or do right leg for 10 reps and then left leg for 10 reps. I chose to do both. I did 4 sets of 10 with each variation of everything. There are 2 key points in this movement that I'm going to explain to you that make the biggest difference when you do core exercises. So my feet, as you can tell, my toes are pointed straight up to the ceiling. So my feet are in dorsiflexion. Putting my feet in dorsiflexion will allow my body to adapt to the feeling of standing up straight. In order to really engage your core and make sure you're engaging your entire leg 360, those feet have to be in dorsiflexion. And the second point is that the back must be flat on the floor. As you see here in the footage of me doing it in black and white, I'm doing it wrong. My core is not stable. My leg is not stable. The leg that is supposed to be at a 90-degree hinge is not at a 90-degree hinge at all. Also in this footage, my arms are not actively holding the weight. So the weight should be suspended in the air and resisting the force of gravity and the force of the weight that is pulling down. So boom, boom, boom. 3 things. Feet in dorsiflexion, back flat on the floor, no gap, no rainbow from the erector spinae, nothing like that. Back flat on the floor. And number 3, arms must be up, elbows locked out, and those weights must be up and off of the ground. All right, so the next movement involves those 2 yellow poles that are standing right there. At home, you could use 2 broomsticks, PVC pipes, or whatever is long and straight that you can hold on to effectively. So this movement is for hips and groin, adductors, abductors, hamstrings. You feel it in the entire lower body. So the objective is to stabilize yourself on your knee, elevate your hip, and raise your knee up in order to get your foot up and over around a ball. I'm using an 8-pound ball, so the circumference of the ball is actually not crazy big. It's not as big as a basketball. It's probably just a little bit smaller than a basketball, maybe a woman's basketball size. But it is still a great challenge and it gets the job done. Some key points to this movement, again, are just like the other one. The feet should be dorsiflexed. Even though it is hard, it is difficult because that heel might touch the ball. But keep the feet dorsiflexed, and the hips should be pushed forward as far as possible to ensure that that core is engaged and innervated through the hips. Another key point that I want to bring emphasis to is my posture. So I am doing my best job to make sure that my shoulders are leveled and to make sure I don't have a slouch in my hips. I'm not favoring one side or the other side. This next exercise involves a half PVC pipe and me laying flat on my back. So my legs will go straight up in the air, and that PVC pipe is going to be held in the middle with one arm firmly, and all I'm doing is rocking left and rocking right. So the objective of this exercise is almost like a game when you do it. So the left arm, even though it's not holding the PVC pipe, is supposed to mimic the right arm with the PVC pipe in its hand and just stabilize itself as if it has a PVC pipe in its hand as well. These are very great for anti-rotation, for rotational athletes in general, and any type of athlete that needs a extremely strong core. I'd say boxers should probably do this, sprinters should probably do this, jumpers, volleyball players, especially back row, to just be able to maintain that position with the core. And the same key points go for this exercise as well. I want to keep my feet in dorsiflexion, and I want to keep my back flat on the ground. If you notice, there's not any arch in my back, and that is a good thing. I want to maintain the same posture that I would be in my most explosive stance standing up. So that means that my back is going to be parallel to the ground, which ensures that I will be in the proper position and proper posture when I'm standing up as well. I'm a rotational athlete, so this next exercise is perfect for emulating my sport. So as a discus thrower, oftentimes the legs are in one position and the upper body is doing something completely opposite to what the legs are doing. So in order to ensure that I have a healthy back, I got to make sure that my core is healthy, and again, that my hips are healthy as well. So I have my arms just stretched out on this broomstick, and I'm basically just turning my entire torso to the left and then standing up as straight as I possibly can and making sure I get my hips through, and then repeating that on the right side as well. The most important key point to this movement is balance. Although my back leg is on the wall and helping me to stabilize myself, it is actually a challenge to maintain that balance through the foot, especially since the heel is down. So I want to balance all of my weight and concentrate it on the center of my midfoot that is on the floor, and make sure that my foot stays flat and I maintain the same degrees of flexion and extension with my legs. So the only thing that is actually changing angles is the hips. So the stability leg has its knee locked out, and the right leg that's on the wall is in dorsiflexion, and lean over, hinge at the hips, twist, and stand back up. When I stand back up, I try to make sure that I get my hips through as far as possible. I feel this in my hamstring, I feel this through my calves, I feel this in my quads, and on my way up, I definitely feel it in my glutes, lower abdomen, and in my hips and adductors as well. I do a lot of thoracic mobility stuff, which improves my range of motion, allows me to have less shoulder pain, less lower back pain, and I just feel healthy after doing movements like this. This next exercise is a glute bridge with an extreme twist. So it's a glute bridge on a ball stabilized on one leg only, and the objective of this is to actually keep the hips straight up in the air and then tuck the leg that's in the air underneath, creating a figure four almost. The key point in the movement here is balance in a new range of motion. So applying pressure through my foot is going to allow the muscles in the gastrocnemius, the calf back there, to really work. And this is stabilizing my Achilles, my hamstrings, my glutes, my lower back, and of course my core. So one of the things that I do to make sure that my core is engaged is keep it in my head to push my glutes up to the ceiling. I'm not really squeezing or anything like that. I'm just making sure I'm pushing my glutes up to the ceiling. I could also think about it as pushing my pelvis or my right under my belly button at the upper pubis area. Push that right up to the ceiling just to make sure that I am in the proper intended posture. In this final exercise, I am using a 25-pound kettlebell. For this movement, I will need to be on one foot, so I'm making sure that my balance and all of my weight is put on that one leg, centralized through the midfoot of my left foot there. And I'm just swinging the kettlebell up and controlling my body, controlling my arms, controlling my core so that I can resist the gravitational force that is pulling that kettlebell back down, controlling it at the bottom, and then swinging it back up. As a rotational athlete, I love this exercise so much. I actually felt the results right after I was done from it. It just feels like there's a lot of pressure centralized in the core area after I'm done doing it. So I really appreciate that. I know that it's teaching my body how to emulate that pressure, that internal force coming from the core. If you don't know this already, I am a discus thrower, and that is an event in track and field that is a weighted frisbee that I throw as far as I possibly can using centripetal force and the momentum that my body creates. So these movements are extremely crucial and imperative that I do them as much as possible for back health, for stability, for balance, for core strength, true core strength, and more, much more. Relative strength is better than absolute strength in my opinion, and this is a representation of that. I really enjoy skating, and it's become a hobby of mine. I've been skating for about 5 months now, and I really like how it feels on my body, and I just enjoy that I can have fun and do something that's low impact but yet still active. Another hobby of mine is juggling, so for the remainder of this video, you get to see me juggle and skate at the same time, and just watch me have fun at the end of my training session. I'm not doing this for anybody. I'm not doing this for the sake of the video. I just film myself doing what I normally do at the end of a training session if I have my skates on me and if the court is available. If you care to see some more content like this and just see what I do in my day-to-day life, you can check me out on my other social media platforms. So I have this YouTube page, then I have my Instagram page, which is at Nora Money, NORAMONEY. Then I have a TikTok page with the same @name, and I have a food page on Instagram where I share tips and tricks of my nutrition as a vegan athlete. Stay tuned, and I will catch you in the next video.